Vishnu, you can stay. Okay.
If I give the read option only, then I'm able to see in this.
Yes, yes. While creating the bucket, if you are enabling the public access only, then the options in the object will be enabled, or you will be enabled, or you can edit the options, or else it will be in the disabled mode. So while creating the bucket only, you have to create. I mean, you have to disable the public access. I mean, block all public access options. Then only you will be able to do the task on objects. I mean, whatever the files you are uploading.
Sir, but I deleted this read access, right access, but I'm also unable to see this picture, sir. How is it possible? After the
Where?
removing this read permission also.
Sorry, come
After
again.
removing this read permission also, I'm able to see this image, sir.
Open your S3. Okay.
I did not give any read permission, sir.
You have to give you read permissions.
Sir, okay. If I am giving this image I have uploaded, I'm able to see this. But after removing this read permission also, I'm able to see this image, sir.
From where you are able to see that?
Okay. Sir, in this open.
Okay. From open, you are able to see the content.
Yes, sir. I'm able to see this content.
So that is nothing but the open in the sense it is accessing the public. I mean, it is accessing through the private mode of the content. I mean, you are if you open the screenshot in the second tab, the tab which is recently opened.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, if you see the web URL, then it will be something very complicated one. So it is not a public access; it is a private access only.
Sir, same, sir. This
Yeah,
one
all these three tabs.
read
See,
access. This one
all
public
these
access.
three tabs are same, but the thing you have to do is you have to enable the public access, and then only you will be able to see, open the object URL. There will be one object URL in S3, same object URL, the
This
down
one,
one,
sir.
fourth one.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So this confirms that the public access has been given to our object. So here it has been denied, and if you enable it there on the object permissions, then only you will be able to access it using this URL.
I read give read permissions. I'm able to see here, sir.
Yes, if you are giving the permissions in yeah, if you are editing here and if you give there, then you will be able to do that. Yeah, is it done, everyone? Shall we move on to next task? Pranav, Suresh, Abdul, Monica. Okay. Okay. What about remaining people? So on the same bucket, if you are going into the tab management, and we are going to create here a life cycle. Life cycle in the sense different stages of the S3. There will be 6 stages in S3, and if you are going to create 6 stages, see, based on the rules you are giving here for the life cycle, your objects will be under different versions or different stages, and it will be automatically removed after the time period has been expired. So let us give or let us show a demo about the. Okay. So this rule applies to all the objects in the bucket. So I'm giving the same rule. Transition current version of objects between classes. So I'm enabling all this. Expire current version of objects. Permanently delete expired. Okay. So the first period, let us say it is for 30 days. Next period, it is, let us say, 45 days. 60. 75. 90. Or let us give this as 180. So the first period, I mean, after the period, I mean, if I am creating an object today and after 30 days of time, it is going to enter into the intelligent tiering. And then after 60 days of the time period from now, I mean, from today, it will be entering into the one zone. And next, after 75 days, it will be entering into glacier. And after that, deep archive. So after this, what happens? Let us see. So this is regarding the current version of the objects. If your option is, I mean, if you are uploading a file of current version, let us say image one, and it doesn't have any versions, or it has a previous version as image zero, image something like that, and the current version in this image one, today's version. So the latest version will be all. I mean, all these objects will be applicable in these. Stages, I mean, in this rule, and this is for the non-current version. The same rules applies here also. If you want to give the non-current version, in the sense the previous versions of the objects, you can just give the comment over here, and after that, expire current version of objects. So I am giving, see, I have given the permission here as expire current version of objects. So that is the reason it is giving me an option like this. What else? See, now it has been removed from here. So if I just select it here, then it will be again regenerated. Yeah, transition. Okay, expire current version of object. So let us say it has, let us say 150. Okay. So after 150 days of time, the object has been created, then it will be expired, and we are deleting the expired objects as well as the previous objects also. Previous, so whatever the options we are selecting under the life cycle of S3 bucket, then that will be enabled and it will be moved into the different stages of S3, and the files will be automatically deleted. So this is the time period which we have given, or the basic map or flowchart of the rules whichever we have given there. So after 30 days, it will be moved into transition of standard IA, then intelligent tiering, then one zone, then glacier. So I think we can. I mean, this is the task not for doing now, but to get a knowledge of it, and you can later on apply it whenever you want. Okay. So what about the remaining task? Okay. I think this theory has been done for you. Let us create the VPC and the public private subnets along with the route tables also. Internet gateway, public private tables. Okay. Okay. So let us go over here S3, not S3. So see, this life cycle is just for your knowledge, and if you want to perform this task, then this task can be performed or done, but it takes time. So we cannot wait till that. VPC. Okay. So I will be creating one VPC. So there are four types of VPCs. That is nothing but VPC with the single subnet, VPC with public and private subnet. We are choosing this one, and VPC with public and private subnets and hardware VPN access. So VPN access in the sense VPN is nothing but virtual private network. That is for accessing our instances using private IP, not public IP. So we can directly, if your VPN access is directly configured with our VPC, listen once again. If our VPN is, VPN whichever is present on our local network or local room, whatever it might be, is configured with the VPC which we have created. Then from this VPN or from this network, our VPC instances, whichever instances, public instance or private instance, whatever it might be, can be accessible using the private IP and VPC with private subnet. Yeah, okay. I think it is done, but you people can recreate it once again. And if you have any doubt while creating it, I will be there. So please do this perform. I'm just explaining the four different types of VPCs. This is, these questions will be asked in interview. For example, if you are moving on to AWS, then he might be asking. This might be of a basic question, but it will be. No one will know about this. There are four types of VPCs, so and so will be configured. So I'm just explaining this. So whatever the task you have to do is like, no need to proceed with these NSELs, and see, the thing you have to do is, I will just draw a rough figure of this and I will let you know so that you will be clear on this. Paint. Please create this. This is the basic, okay. So on the day which we discussed about the basic scenario of VPC, right? So we have to create a VPC. Along with VPC, we have to create an internet gateway, and this internet gateway has this has to be attached to the public route table and private route table. internet gateway, route table, public subnet, private subnet, private route table, or a route table without internet gateway. One second. Okay. So this is the task you have to create it now. I will just give how many minutes? Let us say I will give you till 9:40. It's now 9:22. I will give 18 minutes of time. It is more than enough. Please do create a VPC, then internet gateway. It has to be attached to a route table, which is private, and public subnet. I mean the subnet which is attached to route table is nothing but this route table is nothing but it is a public subnet, and you have to create one more private route table. I mean the route table which is not attached to any of the internet gateway, then it has to be attached to private. I mean the subnet that is nothing but the private subnet. So this is the diagram, or this is the content you have to create it within 18 minutes of time. Please do create it, and if you have any doubt while creating, let me know. And coming to the VPC section, I will just give you one more brief description of that so that it will be clear for you in the interviews also. So there will be 4 types of VPCs. Basically, what is like only the first type is only with the single public subnet. I mean, there will be only this part. Where is that? Only this part. It will be the public route table and public subnet, in the sense only one route table with internet gateway attached. And the next one is okay. And the next one is VPC with public and private subnet. So there will be one route, I mean the other additional route table with no internet gateway attached and private subnet. So that is nothing but the subnet which is not attached to any of the internet gateway indirectly. It's a public, it's a private subnet. Okay. Next, VPC with public and private subnets and hardware VPN access. Hardware VPN access, in the sense our local environment or local network. See, for example, let us say the local environment in encode IT. It is configured to the network is configured to the VPC in AWS. So when you are connected to the local environment or encode IT network, then you will be able to access the instances in public or private subnet instances with using private IP. I will say once again, or I will come once again. So if you are accessing, I mean, if you are configuring your VPN, I mean the local network with your VPC, that is nothing but VPN configuration, then that makes a sense like the VPC will understand that these people, I mean the whatever the VPN is addressed to VPC, then VPC will assume that these are all the local networks, and it will be, I mean, the local instances or the private IP instances will be accessible mode from the VPN address or from this VPN gateway. Is it clear, or shall I come once again? Okay. So, for example, see, I will just go to the paint and I will explain you once again. So let us continue with this here. Okay, I think you are able to see my screen now. I mean the paint. So let us assume that this is the AWS network. Since it is a VPC, this is the AWS network, and here I am just configuring the one more environment. Like, so this is the, let us say this is an encode IT environment. So when I am accessing or when I am configuring my VPC, the local VPC from here to here. So when I am accessing or when I am configuring the thing, the VPC. So this is my okay. So my VPC is configured to encode a network using the VPN. Then this makes sure that, or this confirms that, or the VPC assumes like I'm just giving a brief description of this. So VPC confirms or VPC assumes that the whatever the IP address is coming out from this network is our local IP address, and it will, I mean, the instances in the private subnet or in the public subnet can be accessible using private IP. Is it clear? Okay, I will come once again. So the encode ID network is configured with VPN, and this VPN is configured with the subnet or VPC in an AWS account. So if you do this configuration, if you are connected to this encode ID network in a shortcut way, you can directly reach the server in public subnet or private subnet using private IP. Is it clear? Okay, okay. Please do the task, and let us say it is time 9:28. Okay, I will give time till 9:45, then we can move on to the some other task. Please perform this task, I mean the VPC architecture.
Hello, Vasu sir. Hello,
Yeah, tell me.
sir. Previous task కొంచెం చూడండి సార్. Hello.
Sir,
All disabled participant screen share.
can you post your comment in chat? I mean your voice is not audible. It is very low. Or can you speak bit louder?
ప్రీవియస్ టాస్క్ నేను పర్మిషన్ ఇస్తుంటే పర్మిషన్ తీసుకోవట్లేదు సార్.
So the thing is, while creating the bucket, you haven't given any public access in a sense. So that is the reason when you are trying to create it on, you are talking about S3 or VPC.
S3 సార్, S3.
So while creating the bucket, you have to give the permissions like you have to disable block all public access. Then only you will be able to give the read write permissions for the users or other accounts.
ఓకే, ఓకే. ఇప్పుడు ప్రజెంట్ ఇవ్వాలంటే ఎలా సార్?
No, that is not possible. While creating the bucket only, you have to give the public access. I mean, you can decide whether you can give public access or private access.
ఓకే, అంటే ఇంకో బకెట్ క్రియేట్ చేసి అప్పుడు ఈ పర్మిషన్
Yes,
ఏమంటారు?
yes, yes. If you create one more bucket, then that will be possible.
ఓకే సార్, థ్యాంక్స్.
Okay. So the basic scenario or the basic functionality of Lambda is nothing but it is a serverless computing, in the sense without taking a server or without launching a server, we can perform our function. See, for example, if you are taking an EC2 instance, then in that EC2 instance, you will be launching or you will be installing the application server or web server or something like database, and you will be storing your data or configuring your all the configuration changes of your environment, right? So when it comes to Lambda function, it is a serverless computing. Serverless computing in the sense it doesn't require any EC2 instance or databases. So it directly takes your request and it automatically uh, gives the output of your request. And for the request you are giving, it may take 2 seconds of time. So for this 2 seconds of timer for this function or for your request ID, it will be charged. So it is nothing but based on your request or based on your the service they are providing for you, for the time being they will be charged. I mean you will be charged. So this is nothing but it's a Lambda function and okay and let's move on to Lambda. See, I have explained at the end of the session on Friday. Please do this Lambda function, and if you have any doubt, let me know. I have already given a demo, right? So 1 second, I will just check it again. So based on the today's introduction or today's introduction to S3, it is quite simple. I think we can perform this in today itself, but okay. Let us move on to Lambda function you want. Okay, I will clearly explain once again, and I will directly go to S3. Please create these two tasks. I mean the Lambda function and then S3 also. I want both the tasks from you. I will just explain once again. I'm sharing my screen. This is the Lambda. Node.js. Okay. So there is no function in our Lambda, and in a function you can test 10 of your events. I mean 10 of your different ports on the same application server or something like same server, whatever you are taking the function. For example, if we create, what is that? What is that? Is it from scratch? Okay, I'm just taking the application as Node.js, or else if you want some other applications, you can take Python also. See, based on the request you are giving, it will be taking the application server or application whatever it might be, and it will perform the output based on these applications installed. So let us take Node.js default execution zone. Okay, we have default VPC. Let us go with this. Encoded user. So I just want to. This is the basic template of the Node.js application. Go and give a event name. And I do want to test the function of this. So it is giving status code 200, in the sense the URL or the output is properly working without any issues. 200 is the response code for proper runtime or proper checking of the or proper health check of the application. So if anyone says in your interview saying that what is the 200 response code, then you have to say that it is the proper response, or it is the saying that the application server will be in a good condition, or the URL is in a reachable mode. See, this is the basic output which you are getting from the function what we have created here. I mean, from the basic template. So let us go and create other one. Create a new test event. Okay. Okay, I have just created a function, and now I'm going to create a test event. Event in the sense, in an basic function of a Lambda, we can create a 10 test events. I mean, based on the code which we are writing, the output will be given from the application server we have selected as Node.js. So let us give mobile backend. Yeah, I'm just selecting the test event, and this is giving hello from Lambda. One more, where is that? Okay, both are the echo is same for the both functions. Let us create one more. Create new test event. So for each and every function or each and every thing, the logs will be generated and it will be saved under CloudWatch. And if you want to push the logs to S3 also, you can just push it. And seems that our code is not proper, so that is the reason we are getting error. Okay, please do try these two test events in your Lambda function, and it is an advanced way of integrating with server. And if you are working on any of the migration or some other projects, I mean, based on your project, these Lambda functions will be in touch with you. So let us move with S3 hands-on. S3 is nothing but a simple storage service. Simple storage service in the sense it's like a hard disk of our laptop, or if you are taking a hard disk or separate 1 TB of hard disk, then that is nothing but it's like a simple storage memory. So how long if you want to store the data, it can be stored, but based on the availability or based on the frequency you are touching the data, or you are restoring, I mean not restoring, it's kind of like based on the access you are for suppose if you have saved a file on today, and you are accessing it on the next 30 days, and after 30 days you are not accessing the file for next 180 days, then that file will be moved into the different stages of S3, and it will be automatically removed from the ST storage. So see, all these CloudWatch logs or whatever it might be, these are directly pushed onto our see, without emptying the S3 bucket, you cannot delete the S3 bucket. So I will just delete it after some time. Let us go with S3. So this is the global service like AWS IAM. See, IAM service, we have identity access management, the service which we are having in AWS for user creation or assigning the policies or roles or something kind of things. It is a global service. In the same way, S3 is also a global service. So for example, if you are just selecting an S3 bucket, then it will be accessible to the outside world. I mean, see, if users have proper permissions of S3, then he might be in North Virginia, or he might be in Canada region, then he will be able to access our S3 bucket, because he is, I mean, it's a global service, and whatever the files you want to push, you can directly push from North Virginia region, or you can directly push it from central region, I mean Canada region also. I mean, irrespective of the region, you can just create your bucket and you can directly upload the files or download the files. So let us go with first of all the bucket creation. We'll just go into deeper. So let us say what we can say. So, and moreover, the bucket name must be unique all over the world. I mean, see, for example, there are around 3 lakh or 1 million AWS accounts throughout the globe. I mean, users are taking around 1 million of AWS accounts, and in that 1 million, our bucket name should be unique, and no bucket name should duplicate the other bucket. I mean, see, for example, if I give test bucket, then what it will say? Let us create. So it is just saying that bucket with the same name already exists. Though, so for the reason we have to select a bucket with unique name. So I have given encoded it 3 times, and these are all the permissions we are giving. So this will be created in AWS region of North Virginia, but it will be accessible from all over the all the regions. So there will be what see the storage will be allocated to this bucket in this specific region, but it will be accessible to the users or other people from the different regions of the AWS. And if we block this, see, we are blocking our public access while creating the bucket itself. And if I am not blocking the public access, then my bucket will be accessible to the outside world using the open port. I mean, port number, for example, say, let us HTTP port 80 or HTTPS 443. These are HTTPS is nothing but it's an secured socket layer port. SSL certificate is attached to it, so that it will be no malphishing or malware will be entered into our bucket using port number 443. I mean, hackers cannot do anything if 443 is attached to our bucket. So I am just unblocking it. Will be disabling it in itself. Okay. Let us enable the bucket also. Server side encryption on it. Okay. And where is that? Yeah, this is my bucket, and I have created a bucket which is empty now, and I'm going to upload files into it. Let us upload. I mean, see, we can drag and drop the files from our local PC or something from wherever you want, or you can directly go to here and upload from here. Let us desktop. So please do the task till here. I'm just uploading the files. Create a bucket of your own. Block all public access you have to disable. Then you can enable the versioning of the bucket, and you have to upload the files. After uploading files, please let me know, so that we'll be doing some other stuff.
Where do we find these steps? Sir? Click on S3 submit.
Yeah, wait. I will just give you step by step so that you will be doing it. No problem. We can cover all the content, but not. I mean, see, documentation is okay, but we can continue with doing the same stuff in our own way.
Okay, sir. Up to here it is. Okay.
See, no need to just download or upload the file as it is. You can just browse your own file from your desktop or laptop,
Yes,
and you
sir.
can do it.
Yes, sir. I uploaded my own files.
Sorry?
I uploaded my own files, sir. Up to
Okay,
step
okay.
8.
Okay. Okay, let's wait for some time. I will just share my screen once again. Okay, I have uploaded my files, and here comes with the status. 2 files has been uploaded, and since well, let us go to the properties or permissions. So this is the creation date, bucket versioning. Bucket versioning is enabled, and let us go to permissions. See, we have blocked, I mean, we have enabled public access. That is, block all public access is disabled. So we have enabled the public access, and okay. So since bucket versioning is enabled, let us retry it by uploading some more files and see what will happen. I will be uploading the same files here. See, only 2 files are available. And what about the remaining files? Only 2 files are available. So if you just click on it and where is that? Let's go here. Yeah. So earlier what we have uploaded that is of the first one, and the current file is this one. So sorry. So for suppose I am deleting these 2 files, or let us go here. That is nothing but the versioning. If you are uploading a number of files, then the previous file also will be stored and the current file also will be stored. So let us delete one file from here. Delete. So the file has been deleted from your bucket, but I will be able to see it in the bucket versioning. Where is that? Yeah, list versions. So I have just deleted one file, and even though after deleting the file, my files are existing in the versioning. Versioning is nothing but in our local laptop, for example, let us say, if you give, do you know the difference between the delete and the shift delete? Shift delete directly or permanently removes the file from your laptop or desktop, and normal delete button will just delete your file from the desktop and it will move it into the recycle bin. So versioning is also like the same thing. If you want to delete the file from the versioning also, then your file will be deleted. Yeah, is this okay? Delete. So no need to delete it now. We will do some stuff here. So just click on the file, go to object actions, and on the object actions, if you want to download the file, you can just download it. And here comes the URL. See, this is the object URL and this is the URL. Copy it. Let us say access some different file. Okay. Let us open. So I'm able to access my the file which I have uploaded, but this will be from the private mode. This is not the public mode. So if you just get the IP address or get the web URL, then it will be very long, and this is nothing but it is directly accessing using the private accessing of the mode. And for example, let us say if you open it using this URL, copy object URL, and you are opening it here. So here we are restricting the public access of mode. I mean, so we, even though the bucket policy, I mean, bucket permissions have been enabled for public access, but we are not enabling it for the object. So we have to enable it for the object also. If you go here, Actions, permissions. Yeah, just edit here and click on read. Read. This is nothing but giving the access to everyone to this object. So do the same thing again. Where is that URL? So now I am able to access my object using the public URL, or I am giving the access to the public. So the main difference between the earlier URL and this URL is this is making it as a public. It is directly giving the bucket name with encode ID, encode ID, encode ID bucket name and S3 Amazon.aws and the image name what we have uploaded into our bucket. So this is nothing but this is the public, and if you open it in some other way, that is private mode. Let us say open. So this is nothing but this is also accessing the same data, but it is from the private mode of the content. I mean the private mode of accessing the content. So this is regarding the versioning and uploading the files and some other cases. So I'm just deleting it once again. Vishnu, you can stay. Okay.
If I give the read option only, then I'm able to see in this.
Yes, yes. While creating the bucket, if you are enabling the public access only, then the options in the object will be enabled, or you will be enabled, or you can edit the options, or else it will be in the disabled mode. So while creating the bucket only, you have to create. I mean, you have to disable the public access. I mean, block all public access options. Then only you will be able to do the task on objects. I mean, whatever the files you are uploading.
Sir, but I deleted this read access also, right access, but I'm also unable to see this picture, sir. How is it possible? After the
Where?
this read permission also.
Sorry, come
After
again.
removing this read permission also, I'm able to see this image, sir.
Open your S3. Okay.
I did not give any read permission, sir.
You have to give read permissions.
Okay, if I am giving this image I have uploaded, I am able to see this. But after removing this read permission also, I am able to see this image, sir.
From where you are able to see that?
Okay. Sir, in this open.
Okay. From open, you are able to see the content.
Yes, sir. I am able to see this content.
So that is nothing but the open in the sense it is accessing the public. I mean, it is accessing through the private mode of the content. I mean, you are if you open the screenshot in the second tab, the tab which is recently opened.
Sir.
Yeah, if you see the web URL, then it will be something very complicated one. So it is not a public access; it is a private access only.
Sir, same, sir. This
Yeah,
one
all these three tabs,
private
see,
access. This one
all
public
these three
access.
tabs are same. But the thing you have to do is you have to enable the public access, and then only you will be able to see, open the object URL. There will be one object URL in S3, same object URL, the
This
down
one,
one,
sir.
fourth one.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So this confirms that the public access has been given to our object. So here it has been denied, and if you enable it there on the object permissions, then only you will be able to access it using this URL.
I read give read permissions. I will. I am able to see here, sir.
Yes, if you are giving the permissions in yeah, if you are editing here and if you give there, then you will be able to do that. So on the same bucket, if you are going into the tab management, and we are going to create here a life cycle. Life cycle in the sense different stages of the S3. There will be 6 stages in S3, and if you are going to create 6 stages, see, based on the rules you are giving here for the life cycle, your objects will be under different versions or different stages, and it will be automatically removed after the time period has been expired. So let us give or let us show a demo about the. Okay. So this rule applies to all the objects in the bucket. So I'm giving the same rule. Transition current version of objects between classes. So I'm enabling all this. Expire current version of objects. Permanently delete expired. Okay. So the first period, let us say it is for 30 days. Next period, it is, let us say, 45 days. 60. 75. 90. Or let us give this as 180. So the first period, I mean, after the period, I mean, if I am creating an object today and after 30 days of time, it is going to enter into the intelligent tiering. And then after 60 days of the time period from now, I mean, from today, it will be entering into the one zone. And next, after 75 days, it will be entering into glacier. And after that, deep archive. So after this, what happens? Let us see. So this is regarding the current version of the objects. If your option is, I mean, if you are uploading the file of current version, let us say image one, and it doesn't have any versions, or it has a previous version as image zero, image something like that, and the current version in this image one, today's version. So the latest version will be all. I mean, all these objects will be applicable in these stages. I mean, in this rule, and this is for the non-current version. The same rules applies here also. If you want to give the non-current version, in the sense the previous versions of the objects, you can just give the comment over here, and after that, expire current version of objects. So I am giving, see, I have given the permission here as expire current version of objects. So that is the reason it is giving me an option like this. What else? See, now it has been removed from here. So if I just select it here, then it will be again regenerated. Yeah, transition. Okay, expire current version of object. So let us say it has, let us say 150. Okay. So after 150 days of time, the object has been created, then it will be expired, and we are deleting the expired objects as well as the previous objects also. Previous, so whatever the options we are selecting under the life cycle of S3 bucket, then that will be enabled and it will be moved into the different stages of S3, and the files will be automatically deleted. So this is the time period which we have given, or the basic map or flowchart of the rules whichever we have given there. So after 30 days, it will be moved into transition of standard IA, then intelligent tiering, then one zone, then glacier. So I think we can, I mean, this is the task not for doing now, but to get a knowledge of it, and you can later on apply it whenever you want. Okay. So what about the remaining task? Okay. I think this theory has been done for you. Let us create the VPC and the public private subnets along with the root tables also. Internet gateway, public private tables. Okay. 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 So let us go over here. S3, not S3. So see, this life cycle is just for your knowledge, and if you want to perform this task, then this task can be performed or done, but it takes time. So we cannot do it till that. VPC. Okay. So I will be creating one VPC. So there are four types of VPCs. That is nothing but VPC with the single subnet, VPC with public and private subnet. We are choosing this one, and VPC with public and private subnets and hardware VPN access. So VPN access in the sense VPN is nothing but virtual private network. That is for accessing our instances using private IP, not public IP. So we can directly, if you are VPN.
Hello, sir. Sir, your voice is not clear. Sir.
Is it clear now?
Hello.
Yeah, Vishnu. Am I audible?
Your voice is not clear. Sir.
Please try to reconnect.
Hello.
Yeah, Vishnu. Give me a second. I will reconnect once again. Vishnu, am I audible now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, tell me.
How to connect this internet gateway to the public root tables? I created root table with subnets and VPC.
So whatever the route table you are attaching in internet gateway, that will be the public route table.
Sir, this one I have to attach this root table to gateway. Sir, how to do this?
Go to routes.
Yes, sir.
Go to routes.
Sir.
Edit routes.
Yes.
Add route. Add route. Give a zero entry. Okay. Just click on the drop down button. Internet gateway. Select this
Okay.
one. Okay.
Okay, sir. Done. Sir.
See, remaining people also, if you have any doubt, please ask me so that we can do this task. I mean, 3 more minutes are pending so that we can work with the task. Vishnu, your battery is too low. Make it fast. Monica, Pranav, Suresh, Rizwana, if you have any doubt, Amarinder, Zaim, if you have any doubt, please ask me. We have only 3 more minutes pending. We will be doing it some other task.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, tell me.
సార్ ఇక్కడ ఇంటర్నెట్ గేట్వే ఇస్తే నో రిజల్ట్స్ ఫౌండ్ అని వస్తుంది సార్. ఇక్కడ రూట్ టేబుల్ లా ఎడిట్ రూట్స్ దగ్గర.
Wait. So do one thing. Click on services and go to VPC.
Click on services.
Services. Click on services and go to VPC.
Okay, sir.
Go to Internet Gateway section. Internet Gateway. Third one. Third. Go up, go up. Internet Gateway. Fourth one.
Yes.
Okay. Create an internet gateway here and then you can do that.
Okay, okay. And some dependency is there.
Click on create an internet gateway.
Okay.
Give a name to it. Okay. Create internet gateway. Now you have to attach VPC. Okay. Now what you have to do?
Root table.
Okay. Routes. Okay. Okay. What about remaining people? See, all of you, have you created two subnets? I mean, two subnets, two root tables, and you have to attach only one root table to internet gateway. Is it done, or you have created only single root table and single subnet that is attached to internet gateway? I think you haven't created any root table which is private. I mean, which is not connected to any of the internet gateway. Am I correct?
Yes, 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 sir.
So the basic architecture diagram I have shown you, right? You have to create one more subnet and root table, which is private subnet and private root table. So I'm just creating the basic CloudWatch, and here after creating it, let's delete it. Create it once again. Create a dashboard. Then this is for visualizing purpose. So I'm just selecting the line. Next, the metrics. I'm not going to monitor the logs. I'm just going to monitor the metrics. Metrics in the sense it is of it might be of CPU utilization. For instance, so based on the metrics I'm selecting, see on the, I mean, whatever the metrics I'm selected here is like it will show the network packouts. I mean, network input output. So the traffic, how much of data is transferred from in to out, and in the same way the CPU utilization. There is that. Yeah, CPU utilization, then CPU credit balance. I mean the balance of CPU memory, or else something. I mean the statistic of these instances. So all these are all the metrics, and if you just create and click widget, just click on create widget. So if you select this, then this is the metric of the CPU credit balance. So it is just showing us. 1 second. That's okay. So I think it is clear now. So based on the metrics you are configuring, and this is the dashboard. I have selected the line dashboard. So that is the reason it is showing me the output in terms of graphically using line, or else if you want in a bar or pie chart, then in the same way it will be displayed over there. So based on the metrics you are selecting, the output will be in the different cases. So at some particular point of time, the load was very high. So this is the checkpoint it is giving. So can you see the date 2:15 at around 2:20 the load was high. So if we just select the CPU utilization, let us go to CPU utilization. Okay. So when is CPU utilization high? It is. So if we just select something else like on again 2nd of February 2:15. I mean February 15, 3:20. Earlier today, the network was high. So network or the CPU utilization, whatever it might be. So based on the metrics, I have selected a lot of metrics here, but let us say example status check fail. So there is no status check fail. So that is the reason I'm unable to just go to this options, and here these are the options which are which are giving output as of now, and there is no instance which has status check failed. So that is the reason it is not enabled or it is not showing any output. So I'm just selecting only the one. Okay, for single metrics, metric in the sense for single what to say, for single calculation or if you want to know the data on a single based metric, then this will be the output. Like see, at a certain point of time this will be the output, and the load was very low at around 3 a.m. in the morning, and it is high. So based on these metrics, our application, see what happens in the real world is like a application will be installed, and based on the traffic or CPU utilization, the data in data or IOPS in the sense input output per second. IOPS, input output per second. Based on IOPS, the load will be configured, or the load will be heavier at a certain point of time on the instance. Then at this time, the time can be just configured or can be seen on this CloudWatch. This is for the visualizing purpose. In the same way, we do have, for example, this is the CloudWatch is on AWS environment, and if you have some other monitoring tool, then we have Prometheus or Watchdog or Datadog or Zabbix. So these are all the monitoring tools which we have, open source tools. You can just install them and configure the same metrics over there also. But for the visualizing purpose in the AWS environment, this is the paid service. So if you want to enable it, and you can do this. But in a real world, I think this will comes to you in the support project, I guess, or monitoring projects. 24/7 you have to give support. And yeah, disk read out, read. So there is no data which is retrieved or which is given out from the CPU or from the instance. So that is the reason this is giving. There is no discrete write output for this specific instance. We select just jump to resource. So for this specific environment or for this specific server, there is no one who is logged in and doing the stuff or retrieving the data or getting the data from this instance. So that is the reason there is no data available on this dashboard or on this line diagram or on this graphical diagram. Is it clear, everyone? Okay. And this is all for your knowledge, and if you want to configure them and if you want to check, You can just install some applications and you can just retrieve the data, or you can just reach the URL for a couple of times, and then if you configure the CloudWatch, then in the CloudWatch it will be showing that at this particular time the data has been the URL has been reached, or for example, let us say CPU utilization. When you are trying to reach the server or when your application server is running, then CPU utilization will be in high mode. Then that will be represented in a graphical way here. If you are configuring the CloudWatch for the specific instance, whatever you are installing Apache or Nginx. Is it clear, everyone? Or do I need to explain it once again? Okay. I think today we have
Once again, sir.
completed all tasks in time. Okay, and please practice on all these components. These are the basic components for a DevOps guy. So make sure you are perfect in all this. And in the next class, I think we will be moving in some other task, I guess. Some other task in the sense like Ansible or whatever it might be. So you want once again, okay. So do one thing. Create an instance and launch an application server or a web server in it, for example, Tomcat or Apache or Nginx, and then try to get the URL using the index.html page. For example, try to reach the URL using the public IP. Just give the public IP, and your web page will be in accessible mode, or it will be accessible. Then you do one thing: go to CloudWatch and create a logs. CloudWatch logs or CloudWatch metrics for this instance which you have created and installed application server or web server, and check the metrics so that it will be clear again. And when it comes to the EC2 dashboard, these are all the default metrics for an EC2 instance. So CPU utilization, it is at some point it is high, and status check failed. There is no health check failed for this instance, so that is the reason it is not displayed over here. And network in, network out. So these are all the metrics: network in, network out, network packets, and a discrete out, CPU credit usage, CPU credit balance. So these are all the default metrics which will be given to you for a instance when you are launching. And this is based on the hourly. If you want to just change the hour to 3 hours, then it will be different. And you can just customize it also using your own timing. So this is on the UTC time zone, local time zone, local time zone. So this is based on our local time zone, 9 to 10, 9 to 10. Okay, is it clear, everyone? Suresh. Okay, okay. Let's wind up the session, and we will meet tomorrow. Thank you. Bye, everyone.